everybody, it's your man James, Mr. Quincy Treasures, back again with some more video action for you. Today is another one of our little trips down memory lane, as it's time for, once again, Why It's Great. And for all those you who are new to all this, Why It's Great is where I take a comic from the past from my own personal collection. I share it with you guys, tell you why I think it's so awesome, and why you yourself should probably want to check out that book. And, before we get into this, I want to thank you all for joining me today. And be sure to say that if you like what you see here, please be sure to drop some likes down there on the video to help out the algorithm. We always appreciate that. Also, if you got any comments about the issue after if you've seen what I got to say, please drop me some comments too. I always love hearing what people got to say. I always take time out to hear from the audience, because I think that's important. And last and most importantly, of course, is if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe so you don't miss all the great content I'm putting out around here. I just recently did one of my new favorite things now. Is going to be my thing called the Bunch Art Showcase, a great new video series where I'm going to be talking with comic artists and things like that. So you don't want to miss all this great stuff that I'm doing. So please subscribe if you haven't. And if you have subscribed, please go out and share some links so others can come in and join us, because I want to get this little channel here to grow, and I appreciate all the efforts people can do to help me make that happen. So again, with all that out of the way, I thank you for joining me, and let's get on with the show. Well, today is one I'm going to be doing one from the past, from 1993. This will be Batman: Shadow of the Bat number 13, and I'm dressed for the occasion, as you can see. I'm all prepared to delve back into the world of the Dark Knight, and there's a reason I'm doing this one, because there's something special behind why I chose this issue, which I'll get to probably towards the end of the video here. But before that, we're going to get in and check out our issue. So let me get things set up here. We'll take me off the screen, and then we'll share the issue. And there we are, Batman: Shadow of the Bat number 13 from 1993, The Nobody, and by Alan Grant and Norm Brayfogle, with a great cover by the always great Brian Stelfreeze. And we're gonna get in on this. I mean, just look at those color blends in his painting. I always enjoyed this series covers probably more than anything else because of Brian Stelfreeze's work. I mean, just the way look at the way he gets these colors, the blends, so seamless. When you get close up on it like this, it looks kind of smeary and kind of messy. But then when you back it out, it all comes together. It's a beautiful image, and I just love this cover image. Of looks like a older guy being carried by a Bruce Wayne who is getting exposed here. You can see he's exposing a certain thing that he wouldn't want exposed, but we're going to get at the Nobody. It's a very different story for Batman. It's not like a big action epic. It's not a deep crime drama. It's a more human interest type story in this one, and I liked it for that reason. It was something I've always learned about Batman is you can do so many things with the character. He's so malleable. You can put him in like any kind of a situation and almost any kind of a scenario, and he still works as a character, and that's not easy to do. There are some characters, you put him in a certain setting, like you put Spider-Man in, a setting of like political intrigue, probably not going to be that great, because you don't see Spider-Man as like that type of a character. You see that be more like, say, Captain America or something like that. You would expect that. You wouldn't expect that from Spider-Man. But like Batman, you can really, he's like just multi-use of being able to be in any kind of scenario, and that's what the Nobody here is going to show you, is that's exactly what he is. Because in here, the Shadow of the Bat never really focused on Batman so much as other people around him, hence the title of the name, Shadow of the Bat. And so now we're going to get into our issue here. And you can see it starts out with, looks like a homeless guy walking along, and, people, you can see the attitude they have towards those who are less fortunate. Probably one that's very much similar today. And speaking of similar today, I just love the stuff here, these little details in the paper, voodoo economics, what is it? Homeless numbers up, someone who was censored. If you think about our world today, do these headlines really seem like they're like from 1993, or are they from 2023? Because it could all be the same. But, he comes slopping by, this homeless dude who's heads up to the Wayne building, and, he makes a threat. He goes to the guard, and he tells him, he goes, "We can work this out. What do you want?" He goes, "Wayne, take me to Bruce Wayne." So, of course, they call ahead, so he knows. He says he's serious. So they go in, and then it's a trick. He never had a gun. And, when they go to arrest him, he's like begging him, like, no, no, you don't understand. This is for your own good, Wayne. Let them tell them to let go of me. Or you want everybody to know where you were at 4 a.m. this morning. And just look at the look on his face. So he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's referencing just by the time period. And that's just a beautiful way of conveying what we're about to see here. So he sends off the guards, tells him, I got this, I can handle it, and that's when he tells him, I know your secret, Wayne. I know who you are, Batman, and he wants to help him, but he says, no, don't bother, I'm dying, but there's something you have to know, or you may never be Batman again. And again, I like this here with a little bit of blood on his clothes. The guy bled on him. It's kind of like a piece of him is now going to be a part of Wayne, and you're going to see that in the story as it goes on of how symbolic something like that is in this story. So he tells him about where he was last night, when he was fighting against some criminal scum, and I just love this image. I like that shot, the little bit of like the present time as we then go into the past. And I like how they use the shadows to create the cape and then take us right into the action. And I just, Norm Brayfogle was like, to me, he's one of the premier Batman artists of my generation. Him and Nolan were like the two big new guys doing Batman when I was a reader. Also Jim Aparo, of course, but Jim had been doing stuff since like the 70s, so he'd been doing it for a long time. But like Norm and Graham, they were like the Batman guys for my generation. So I just love it because look at the impact in that image, and I love the color scheme chosen here for this. The red sky, the orangey type backgrounds and stuff, and the highlights. I just love that. It really punches up that image, of Batman in action, and you're going to see even more of that here. I mean, just look at this page. This is just like basically an all action page, but like look at the dynamic posing, the outstretched leg, the duck, and then the uppercut. I mean, just this is like the power dynamics that Norm Brayfogle put into everything he did in Batman. It's why his work on Batman is so revered to this day. And again, the coloring, that red background with the yellow and orange highlights on the characters and things. It's just so perfect. And so you can see as Batman's kicking the ass of some criminal scum as their leader takes a powder. One of them falls on our homeless guy here, and he apologizes. He gets a little grouchy because he got woken up, and so he goes, "I watched as you swung away into the night like it belonged to you, hating you for your poise and assurance, your ability to just rise up above the city and all its filth, hating you for being a hero when I was nothing at all." So you see, so this guy's like kind of really, you see here in the story, it's not really about Batman. It's about this homeless guy. He's the real focus of this story. So, he goes on and, Wayne wants him to get a doctor. He says, forget about it. Just give me a drink. So he gets him some water and he continues his story. And this is when he gets into like his life. This is where you get the real backstory on this homeless guy. And, he goes here, I was drunk last night, like every night. Cops meant questions, and I wasn't in the mood. What had cops ever done for me? What had life ever done for me? I still remember the drink that started it. I was naive then. I thought life was fair. I thought I was going to be somebody. Me and Allison, we owned a little store. Not much, but a start. We'd had a beautiful daughter, Wanda. The future was ours. Then the news came. A hit-and-run driver. They didn't stand a chance. That first drink steadied my nerves. I ID'd their bodies, their broken and bloody bodies. It blotted out the pain, so I drank more and more. And when the store went under, I took to the streets. I mean, like this is almost like a story you can understand. I'll tell you, your boy here, I'm a total teetotaler, but the reason I am is because my father, God rest his soul, he was an alcoholic, and so it swore me off ever wanting to touch this stuff. But seeing what it did to him, I mean, I can empathize with this character because I'm sure it was the same for my father. It was a trauma in his past that got him to drink, and it just numbed the pain. And so whenever that pain would bother him, he'd go out and drink, just to numb it. And that's what this guy told me. So it's like I really get what he's saying here. I love Alan Grant. I mean, he really seems to understand like the mentality of someone who has now become an addict to something to assuage pain. Again, like I said, this whole story is very much like a human drama, and this is part of that. And again, just the beautiful montage image of him walking down the street, just beautiful stuff by Norm Brayfogle. Again, just the colors. Again, it really helps the story stand out when they do things like that. And so he tells him, he got lost among the nobodies, and then he saw Batman later catching him, caught up with him somehow, and we see more action. Again, just look at that. Look at that shot here on the bottom of the page. Look at that. I mean, just the dynamism, the impact of that shot. The shattering glass, the kick to the chest. Dropping his gun. I mean, just totally. Just this is superhero comics. This is what they're meant to do. They're meant to give you a scene like this. So Batman goes to take down the boss that had ran off. The boss, suckers Batman because they're in some kind of a building where it's like a foundry of some kind, so he has access to stuff that could hurt him. And you see right here, here's where it happens. He swings it at him and he catches the cowl, but not Batman, and it rips it off. And so now Batman's face is exposed, and here it is. This again, look at the colors, the yellows and the oranges on them, and the red on our homeless guy. I just love that. And just the shock in his face when he sees who it is. So Batman takes out the bad guy, and our homeless guy goes, I knew who you were right away. I'd seen you once before I started drinking. Don't that beat all, though? Gotham's richest playboy by day, the Batman by night. And so he tries to play it off. Wayne says, you're delirious. I need to get a doctor in here. And he's like, don't treat me like a chump. At least give me that thing. I know what I saw, and have to know what I did with that knowledge. I mean, again, just look at his face. You know it's not good. You know that what's coming is not a good thing. So he said he saw him take off after he took care of the bad guy. He said, I thought about blackmailing you, but I knew you'd hunt me down. So maybe it had to go into the wrong hands. Instead of putting the information in the right hands, you're going to put it in the wrong ones. So he goes to this little scummy bar, talk to this guy. He wants to talk to Doc Creasy, this guy. So he calls him over. And he sits them down, and he goes, it's important. I got to talk to you alone. So they do. He buys him a drink. He goes, I told him my story and offered a deal. I should have known it would backfire on me. And so he basically tells me, I know who Batman is. I know it's got to be worth a lot of money. He goes, I'm looking at, I don't know, 50, 100,000, dollars for me. To a big shot like the Joker, it could be worth millions. And so he's talking to the guy, and then Doc Creasy pulls out some knives, and he basically tells him, but I'm afraid you to drink all that money would be wasted on someone like you. I mean, you'd only drink it. Now, if you tell me for free, I think we can arrange for you to walk out of here under your own power. Or, of course, I could always show you why they call me Doc. So basically he's threatened for his life. And it's like he's trying to, barter it down. All right, how about $1,000, $100, the price of a drink? And it's like, you've had it, talk. He goes, you told him I had no choice. And he believed you? He had to. It was true. I thought I was saving my life. In reality, I had signed my death warrant. Because as you can see here, he tells his boys to do away with them, make it look like an accident. He takes a stab at running at it, but then he gets cut down by Doc's knife. There's no chance of passing it off as an accident now. Never mind. So they tells him just to dump his body somewhere where they won't be found easily. No one's going to care about another dead hobo. And then Doc starts to get an idea of auctioning off the information he's been given. Gotham's Dark Knight goes to the highest bidder. And then our homeless guy here again, and I love this. I love the graffiti on the wall. Again, the flies. I mean, just the little details. In like the dark, dark dingy streets of Gotham City. Just this is what you would see. I love that. And then he goes, Lord knows I deserve to die, but something kept me alive. The alcohol, maybe. White fire was throbbing in my back. My head was pounding, and bile kept rising in my throat. I felt weak, drained, giddy from loss of blood. Maybe that explains it. I saw you. You'd been out there all night. A man with a mission, a man with a life, a somebody. Me, I'm nothing. But so are Johnny Zero and Doc Creasy and all the others who can't look further than the next quick fix. I had to make amends. And he tells him that he's auctioning off his his secret. Doc is going to auction it off tonight. I'm going to tell you where, but I want you to tell me something first. You're rich, famous, successful. So why do you do it? And just this expression on his face, on Batman's face right here, this expression, it says it all, even without saying a word. That's the kind of power a Norm Brayfogle has in order to convey what isn't even spoken visually. This is the kind of storytelling that is missing so much today. And I love this. I love this shot here. Just Batman heading out, to do his thing, and then the captions from our homeless guy. The city's steeped in evil, rotten through and through. It's built on graft, corruption, greed. It'll never change. You must know that. So tell me, Batman, why do you do what you do? And I just love that shot at the end, the face. As he's going out to handle this situation with his secret being out, and just you can see the righteous fury right there. This is a Batman that's determined. So we cut back to Doc Creary, Creary, and he's getting ready to hold the auction, and he hears that that Bruce Wayne has left town for Paris, and he makes a comment. Good, that'll keep him out of our hair. And someone asks, "What are you talking about, Doc?" Nothing that need concern you. Just a private joke, you might say. So he thinks he's safe now. He's like, with him out of town, I can do this. I ain't got to worry about him getting involved. So people start showing up. Some disreputable types. Dan Ramone representing the East Side family. Philip III, who is representing a Mr. Cobblepot, who we all know is the Penguin. And then right here, yeah, what's up, Doc? And of course, it's the Joker, because why wouldn't he be there? So again, this is probably just a little way of getting in a very well-known Batman villain in this story, just to have something with a little punch. And again, I love, just look at Brayfogle's face here. I mean, to me, it's like the best aspects of the Brian Bolland Joker and the classic Joker before Bolland. And I think it's a nice marriage of the two. I love the details in the face that Brayfogle gets. That tight, thin jawline. I mean, just it's perfect. This is the Joker. So they go to start the bidding, and Batman's just as Batman arrives. So they started being 5 million, 6, and he goes, "Gentlemen, please, are we all cheapskates? This is virtually priceless information." And then the Joker, "Well said, sir. In that case, I'll take it for free." And then that's when the Joker's boys bust in. Nobody moves, nobody gets hurt. Tells him you ought to beef up security. And so Batman's watching all this, and I like this. This is the tactician of Batman. Half a dozen automatics in an enclosed space. Suicide to even try it. So he's not going to go in right now because he knows it's too dangerous. He and them would never have a chance. Lots of people end up dead. So they warn him not to follow, and they fire a few shots to make it. And then Batman, now this is when he leaps in. Phosphorus flare. Auto. Even the odds long enough. Blinds him a bit, and then here, but it can't be you. You're in Europe. I don't know who you think I am, Creasy. but you made a bad mistake. And then we'll see about that. And so like now they're thinking it was a setup that these all these criminals think that the doc can set them up, and so bang, right there, the guy who has the secret dies without ever having given it. Which of course that doesn't do anything to dissuade Batman's reaction. And I love this. I love this page right here. He clobbers him in the face. You see he bleeds, and he just the smile of like, that was your best, not enough. And then just a kick to the face, backhand, and then the punch. And I love this, how it's almost, with the way he drew this, with just a close up of the guy's head, it's almost like he literally knocked the guy's block off. And that's like what they're trying to convey with this shot right here. He's knocking his block off. And I just love that. Just like visual representation. And then we see, Batman, ironic. Creasy brought the secret in blood and lost it the same way. My charade about Europe and this, a fake mask he was wearing, wasn't even needed. See, he had planned to like make it where he would have to show his face and they would see that he's not Bruce Wayne, and then it would have been a total fake out to him, thinking, oh, this bum was just a drunken, delusional homeless guy. He didn't know what he was talking about. He's crazy. And yet all this was for nothing, because the guy who knew the secret got killed before he even gave out the secret. All that work for nothing. And then we get the final page here, and this is like the heart of the story here. Where he asked him why he does it, and this is all like in flashback. Again, you can tell by the colors, and he dies. And then you get this: I do it for the weak and the scared and the oppressed. I do it for the victims, the innocent, the abused. I do it to try to end the suffering. And I do it for the nobodies. Wow. I mean, that's just, even now it's like hitting me. It's like just, wow, it's so wrought with emotion. This is what Batman is about. This is why he does what he does. He was a victim of the kind of crime you see him fighting in this issue. And that's why he does it, so that others don't suffer the way he did. And I just love the diagonal view that Breyfogle uses here with that final shot. Just very beautiful, almost statuesque. It's almost statuesque, with the bats flying in the background of the moon. Just a beautiful image, a perfect way to end the tale. These are the stories that like people don't think about. When you think about Batman, you think about like crime and detective work and so. But this is like the true heart of what he does. This is what Batman is about. And again, this is just a beautiful story. Alan Grant and Norm Breyfogle. To me, this is like one of their top 10 best stories they ever did together. And that's saying a lot when you look at the body of work that the two of them had together during this period, from like the late 80s to the early 90s. All the work they did on Batman, for this to be considered to me a top 10 story, that's saying something. Because there are guys who could never ever attempt a story like this and pull it off the way they did, with such emotion and such reverence and such impact. And that's what you want in a story like this. If you're gonna do a story about like that kind of human drama side to superheroes, this is how you do it. And you saw there was still plenty of action in there. Like I said, the coloring, the visual effects used, like this one right here, the knocking off of the block, just the shot here, him coming through the window. And of course, I got to go back to it because it's just the best. This page right here. To me, this is just absolute perfection. And the coloring was beautiful all throughout, but like especially so in like these flashback sequences with the red background. Kind of funny because the guy who's telling it is bleeding out and dying as he's telling this story. And so I kind of thought it was kind of like ironic that they would say, well, let's go with a red background in the flashback. But again, it really works. It pushes all that great art forward. Just beautiful stuff. Yeah, for me, this is the kind of story that that really is it shows you the real writing chops of the writer and the real visual storytelling ability of the artist, because it can't rely on a bunch of splashy images. You can't rely on a lot of action. You can't rely on a lot of fill in exposition, sort of like the guy explaining everything to you about what's going on, the way to do sometimes. This is a story where you have to have all your ducks in a row to make it work, and this one does. The Nobody. It's one, like I said, definitely one of the top 10 Batman works by Grant and Breyfogle. You really can't go wrong to go out and get this. This book is not expensive. It's not a key of any kind, as you saw. I mean, you see a couple shots of the Joker. It's as close as you get to a key. You know what I'm saying? There's no big bads in this. There's no reveals that are like super important. There's no first appearances of anybody or anything like that. No big origins. Just a well done human drama story about a guy who learned something he shouldn't have learned, and the price he pays trying to make it right. And that's just a great story. And again, these are the kind of stories that Shadow of the Bat was known for. And so, like I said, definitely one of the best. That beautiful stealth freeze cover. Again, the yellow background. Again, that bright color pushing the characters forward into the foreground here. Just it's the total package. You really can't go wrong if you like Batman, if you like great comics. And this one, again, it's not a key, so it's not going to be expensive. You could probably pick up a copy of this, $3 or $4 for a very nice copy of this. You can't go wrong. It's a great story with lots of emotion and drama, and just a real understanding shown of why Batman does what he does. It gets you inside the heart of the character in a way a lot of other stories, when you're focusing on the crime or the action, doesn't do. And there you have it. Shadow of the Bat 13 from 1993. Great stuff. A classic from over 30 years ago. Like I said, you can't go wrong with this book. To me, it's, like I said, one of the top 10 Grant and Breyfogle collaborations on Batman that was ever done. And it's definitely a highly overlooked book. No one ever thinks about this story or talks about it. I've never, at least not that I've ever seen anywhere. So definitely one to check out if you haven't already. So go check it out. Like I said, it's not an expensive issue. It isn't going to break your budget, and it's just a great single issue story. Just the kind of thing that you don't see so much of anymore. And well, that'll do it for our discussion about the book. But as I did promise, I said, all of this, it plays in there. There's a reason why I'm doing Batman book this week, and that's because the thing I've been hinting at, you guys see me hint at it in lots of my videos of the last couple of weeks, is I said I got this big thing I'm working on, and I'm about to do that this weekend. It's going to be a live stream event this Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern, where this Saturday is Batman Day. And so I'm going to celebrate it by doing a live stream talking about some Batman related stuff. And it's not just going to be me talking. I'm going to have some guests on. So you definitely want to check it out. So, make sure, like I said, if you haven't subscribed, to make sure you subscribe, because you don't want to miss this. This is probably the biggest deal I've done on this channel yet. Getting some guests in to do this with me. So you definitely want to check that out. And, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for it to happen. I hope you guys will too. And, I'm going to try to bring some fun and some entertainment as we celebrate the 85th anniversary of Batman. He's 85 this year. I know it's hard to believe, but he is. He's 85 years. I remember when I first got into comics, he was about to turn 50. I can't believe it's been so long. But yes, he's 85 this year. And so I want to do a little something special for that. And so I'm putting together a little stream here to celebrate Batman Day 2024 to honor, one of the best and, most classic characters ever created in American comic books. Like I said, he is so adaptable. He can be used in so many different genres and in so many different ways. He's so malleable that way. You can use him in any kind of a story, as this shows. And you can just do so much with that character. And so I just wanted to do a little tribute to it. And, especially, like I said, since 85th anniversary this year, and just have some fun with it. So I hope you guys will be joining me for that this Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern time. That will be the time for the live stream. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. And you definitely want to see who my guests are too, right? So you got to show up and find out what's he going to talk about, who's going to be there. Come on by and find out. But I want to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you guys some fun out of this little talk about some sweet Batman comics. Again, more is coming, and I have some other stuff in the pipeline as well. So we'll have to see how that goes. And please, if you haven't, I'll throw a link down there in the description for this as well. The inaugural edition of the Sequential Art Showcase I just did, last week, and you can check that out. This is where I get together with an artist and we talk about their art and their techniques and things like that. Kind of a fun thing I'm going to be doing from from time to time. I'm going to try to make it a monthly thing, so I hope that works out with scheduling with artists and whatnot. We'll have to see, but that's what the plan is. But please check that out, because that's another thing I'm very proud of in getting done. So that will about do it for this one, and I thank you all for joining me today, and I will be back more with some more stuff soon. Again, especially this Saturday. Don't forget, this Saturday, the Batman Day live stream extravaganza. Don't want to miss it. And I will see you all there. And until next time, take care.